Hi, and welcome back to art. This week, we are going to be talking about texture. Texture is one of our 7 elements of art. When we talk about texture, we're talking about how something feels, right? For example, this mug right here has a really smooth texture. This can, where I keep all my colored pencils, is bumpy. It has a bumpy texture. It's also a little smooth right here. This kind of sponge thing I found is really rough and scratchy, right? Rough and scratchy. Texture is the way something feels. Oh, wait, I have another texture. Hold on. Oh, this texture is really soft and fluffy, right? Soft and fluffy. Another texture, right, Lucy? Are you soft and fluffy? Thanks for helping. Artists use line and pattern to create texture in their work. And today, we're gonna do that by making some wild, textured monsters. So, get a piece of paper, get a pencil, and anything you would like to use for color, because we're gonna get started with some crazy texture monsters in just a second.
As we start, let's think back to the lines we've learned about. Remember, horizontal lines lay down flat. Vertical lines stand up straight and tall. Our diagonal lines lean over to the side. We also have curly, loopy curved lines. And last but not least, those pointy zigzags. Think back to your lines and pick some to start making your monster's body. I think I'm going to use zigzags and curves. Let's begin with the head. You're going to use your lines to make what is called an enclosed space. That means I start at one point and I work around with my line all the way back to my starting point. You can be as crazy as you want to, just come back and make sure it's a closed-in space. Here's my head. Let's try it again with the body. I'm going to use a wiggly curvy line all the way up and around to that other line. An enclosed space. Now, think about what you want to add to your monster. Maybe you need some arms. I'm going to use some long curves and some pointed zigzags to make some long arms and pointy fingers. Your monster is going to look totally different from mine. This is all about being creative, playing with our lines, and making fun textures. So make a lot. Be imaginative. How about some feet? I am going to add some webbed feet like that, kind of like a duck or a goose. See how I'm using zigzags and curves to make those feet? Now, where are you going to add texture? I want more than one texture on my stomach, so I'm going to add another enclosed space. There I can change up my texture. Now it's time to add a facial expression. That means, what does your monster look like? Is it a happy monster? Is it a grumpy monster? Use your facial features, which are your eyes, your nose, and your mouth, to make your monster have an expression. Now it's time to add some texture. Think of all the different places you could add different kinds of textures. Is it in your arms, your head, your feet, on the stomach? Where are you going to switch things up? Check out this fish. What are the textures on that fish? How about the scales on that snake? How would you make your monster look like it felt like this lizard? What about a soft, fluffy texture? What lines would you use to create that? Would you use straight lines or curvy lines? Would they be close together? How would you add fur? What about an ooey gooey slimy feeling? How would you make that? What lines would you use? What if your monster is made all out of rocks or is very hard? How would you show that? Think about different textures as you look at your monster and begin to fill it in. I think I want those snake or fish scales on the tummy, so I'm going to use some curved lines. You see how that looks like scales? Take your time and fill your monster in with lots and lots of different textures. I'm going to speed it up here for a second. You will not draw this fast. Once you've added a texture in one part, switch it up. Do something different somewhere else. Let's see, I'm gonna have a slimy body around all these scales. Be as creative as you can. I'm gonna make his face look really scratchy by using short little lines. Again, it is up to you. How are you gonna use line to show texture? I think I want my arms and feet to have a smooth texture, so I'm gonna leave them blank. Once you're done, you can add color. Play around with color, change things up. Take your time. Again, this video is sped up, so you will not color this fast. The longer you take, the better it'll turn out. Have fun, be creative, make lots and lots of different monsters with lots of different textures. And as always, I can't wait to see what you make.